Hello, hitchhikers. You're listening to ahk42.com, a hitchhiker's guide to 42. I'm your host, Leah Harrison, and welcome to the show. Today's guest will be speaking with Chris Evers. He's got a conference in Hull, UK in September. He's going to speak to us about all of the guests that are going to be there, a sneak peek into what sort of details that these guests will be speaking about. Chris Evers has a magazine that he edits alongside Philip Mantle and Malcolm Robinson, and it's called The Outer Limits Magazine. If you head on over to ahk42.com website, you will see Chris Evers' guest page where he will be speaking, sharing his website and also his bio. Okay then, hitchhikers, I've got Chris Evers with us. Hi Chris, how you doing?
I'm very well, Leah. Thank you very much. How's yourself?
I'm okay. It's a little bit hot over here at the minute in Lincolnshire. How about you?
Well, I'm just a few miles north of you, to be quite honest with you. I'm in Hull, which is, of course, East Yorkshire.
Yeah.
And it's quite warm here. It's quite nice.
Yeah. It makes a change, doesn't it? And especially now we've not had much rain. It's not so clammy hot.
Well, it's not so good for the flowers. It might be quite nice for people. Yeah. But I think this is the summer, so make the most of it, folks.
I know. That's it. You never know what's going to come around the corner of our great British weather. Exactly. So we've got you over here. I want to know all about you, and our listeners will need to know about you. What got you started in the UFO? Well, basically, what was the event that got you into the subject, and then what got you started with your magazine? Tell us about your magazine, and then how you got to the conference.
Yeah. Okay. What got me into the subject is, well, way back in the early 1970s, as a young lad, I was kind of into the unusual things, such as, partly my uncle's fault. He was into ghost stories and stuff, and in one of the books that he had a few UFO accounts. And I started reading these books and so on when I was staying at his house one evening. And that kind of brought me into the subject. Shortly after this, there was a TV series on called UFO, which was the exploits of Shadow, which was an organisation set up to encounter UFOs as they were coming to the Earth. And it was all done by Jerry Anderson, which was famous for the Thunderbirds TV programme. Yeah. And that kind of got me into it. Right. Now, early back in 1974, myself and a few lads were playing, well, what we used to do back in them days, because we didn't have the internet and computers. We used to have bits of wood, wooden sticks and so on, and was playing soldiers and using those for guns.
Yeah. Like all kids used to do, which was play rather than tap.
Absolutely, yes, we did, yeah. So, I mean, one night we was out, this was early February in 1974, a clear, cloudless, starry night, and I was on top of a mound of mud playing soldiers, and we saw this. Well, I saw a set of lights moving across the sky, but they weren't just aircraft lights. There was one individual light, or it appeared to be one individual light at the time, but it leapfrogged over itself. So, for example, it was leapfrogging from position 1 to position 3, then back to position 2, then back to position 4, and it moved across the sky like that. Wow. So, like an idiot, I jumped up and shouted, "Oh, look up in the sky, a UFO, a UFO." But as I shouted that, it blinked out.
Oh, no.
And it wasn't seen again. It just disappeared.
Oh, wow.
Now, this was a cloudless night. The light in the sky was right above my head in a star field in the background, etc., and it just completely disappeared, and I didn't see it again. That raised my interest a little bit more. So from that time on, I started reading the books that were available at the time, books about the Warminster Thing, and also books from America by Major Donald Kehoe, who was, of course, instrumental in setting up NICAP over over there in America. Obviously, these were books for free and from the local lending library, but they kind of intrigued me, and I got more and more deeply interested into it at the time.
Wow, cool. So, is after that, then you were reading into your books and stuff. What sort of now you're an adult? How do you feel about the UFO phenomena now, knowing all the information you've read, meeting the people that you've met, and sorting out this wonderful one-day conference of the 70 years of the modern UFO era? So how do you feel now?
Well, I think there's definitely something beyond the phenomenon. What it is, I'm not 100% certain as yet. I'm not one who believes in portals and all that kind of stuff. My own opinion is that these are nuts and bolts craft, which are coming from somewhere. Now, where that somewhere is, I haven't got a clue. That's the $6 million question. What I'm doing is basically seeking the truth. And where that truth will take me, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm still investigating things on and off occasionally myself. But nowadays I see myself more as a provider of information to people, which is where the idea for the magazine came from.
Right. It's a great magazine, and you do it monthly, and it's free, guys. So check it out. It's Outer Limits Magazine. If you go to the guest page that I've got for Chris and I today, all the links will be there. But other than that, you can find him on Facebook. Is that right, Chris?
That's correct, yeah. Can I just correct you that the magazine is actually bi-monthly? It is free. Yeah. And I do have a website for it, which is chris0597.wixsite.com/Outer Limits Mag. And you'll find it all there. And yes, I am on Facebook. You can find Outer Limits Magazine on Facebook as well.
We need to get you a website name.
Yes, we do. Yeah, that is hopefully if the conference does work how I want it to work, then obviously I'm going to be setting a professional website with its own URL and everything, do it all properly, and that's part of the reason I'm doing the website, doing the conference, should I say.
Well, I'll help you. I'll chip into that, darling, so it's easier for you to say it where you need to say it, and but other than that, who's going to be at your conference?
Well, we've actually got 6 speakers in total. One of them is a little bit of an add-on, but that doesn't mean that she's any less of a speaker. I'm actually going to be interviewing her on her own experience in North Wales. Now, our first speaker on the day is Mike Covell. Mike is a local lad to the Hull area. He's going to be looking at 70 years of ufology and beyond. And his lecture is based on a lifetime of his own research. He's going to be discussing events from 1801 in the Hull area, which was, we believe, one of the first UFO sightings in the area, when a set of lights was seen over Hull, shining down over the Hull area. And Mike brought that to international attention himself in 2015. He's going to be looking at the 1909, 1913, 1947, and various events and cases up to 2017. Wow. The 1801 sighting that made international headlines is perhaps the oldest known UFO sighting of its kind in the UK. Blimey. Mike will be showing photographs, and he's got an extensive collection of files and other material relating to cases. But also Mike is actually, and perhaps this is another lecture, Mike is also an internationally renowned investigator of Jack the Ripper. So, that's fantastic. Another lecture altogether.
Fantastic. My great-grandma was alive when Jack the Ripper was around. And she used to tell me about how they all had to come in because they used to walk around in the late hours, early morning hours when they were children. And all of a sudden they had to be coming in just before it got dark. So it just goes to show you how the kids were back then. And
okay.
Thing.
Well, Mike will be there on the day, and I know you're coming up earlier, so perhaps you can have a natter with him on the day.
Yeah, I should be interviewing, because you gave me the opportunity to interview the people that will be there, and some of the guests, I hope.
Yep.
And it should be interesting, and I'll add it to the show, and obviously share it with everybody so they can get a little bit of an eavesdrop into what the audience was like and how they reacted and stuff. So I'm sure
that'll be brilliant.
There's going to be
our second speaker on the day is Paul Sinclair. Paul is actually based up at Bridlington, and he's done a lot of investigations into strange events going up on the East Coast up there. Yeah. And what he's basing his talk on, though, at the event is at the conference, is an event that happened at Wilsthorpe, which is just about half a mile to a mile south of Bridlington. A few years ago, an elderly couple contacted him to say they witnessed a circle of blue glowing triangle craft over the sea at Wilsthorpe, and they actually didn't see one, they saw 20 to 30 small glowing triangles. Basically, they claim that they watched them from their own living room, which looks directly over the secluded beach. And they also said the army arrived the following day, and they saw he sounded incredible. Yet another 2 years were passed before Paul actually dug deeper into that claim. And someone unconnected to this elderly couple told him something similar. The locations were the same, and they both told of a military presence on the beach. Now we had something to work with. He's actually investigated that a lot more, and he's actually going to be basing his talk all about that event. Now, this is an ongoing investigation, so things are being added to it more or less on a daily basis. And I'm sure Paul and people who come to see Paul's talk will find this event fascinating. From what Paul has told me, it is one not to miss. It really is. It's absolutely fantastic, some of the things Paul has told me about this.
We're going to take a little break. We'll be back in a bit. You've got quite a few guests, so who would be up next?
Well, after Paul, we have a gentleman who many people in the UFO world may know. His name is Russ Callahan. Russ is the former editor. He actually took over when the actual founder of the magazine, Graham Birdsall, founder of UFO Magazine UK, actually passed away in 2003. And I know that Russ ran the magazine for a short while. He's also set up other magazines, and he's actually worked with one of our other speakers as well, Philip Mantle, in running another UFO magazine and a series of conferences in the Yorkshire area. This was about 10, 12 years ago now, though. Russ has lectured at some major conferences in Europe, America, and along with Graham Birdsall, he's delivered some of the most compelling video evidence called The Secret NASA Transmissions, The Journey, and the extremely popular UFOs Hard Evidence series. Russ's talk will be a video reappraisal of 70 years of ufology. And now Russ believes that there have been some very unexplained events over the years, but is everything actually what it seems? Now, Russ is a straight-talking Yorkshireman with a slight hint of satire, and he's going to present a fully illustrated journey through that last 70 years. And some of the most intriguing events you can imagine will be actually in his video presentation. Now, he certainly promises to open the viewer's eyes, skeptic or believer alike. So, this is another one that should not be missed.
No, a hard task to do, and very positive. So I'm looking forward to that one.
So am I, to be quite honest with you. I know Russ, how he presents things. He is fascinating to listen to be honest. Our associate editor of Outer Limits magazine, Malcolm Robinson, is speaker number 4. And in his enlightening talk, which is called UFO Hotspots from Around the World, Malcolm is going to be discussing some of the world's top amazing UFO hotspots, or window areas, which seem to attract a higher concentration of UFO sightings anywhere else on the globe. And why is this? What's going on? What makes these locations more noticeable for UFO sightings than any other location on the planet? Well, Malcolm will firstly discuss some of the UK's UFO hotspots, namely Bonnybridge in central Scotland and Dyfed in West Wales. And following on from these locations, he will take a look at UFO hotspots such as Gulf Breeze, the Nullarbor Plains in Australia, the Area 51, of course, in the Nevada desert, Puerto Rico, and the mysterious End Triangle in Russia, the infamous Skinwalker Ranch near Utah, and, of course, the amazing UFO sightings over Mexico and Hesdalen in Norway.
Oh, wow.
So his hour-long talk should be packed full of information. And knowing Malcolm, he'll probably go over it a little bit.
Yeah, I hope he fits it in, because it's all fascinating. I love all that stuff personally, but if people have never heard of them before, it's certainly going to enlighten them into their own investigations.
Well, this is why what I've done with the conference, that I've brought in three or four people who have been investigating and presenting information over many years. Malcolm's own involvement with the subject goes back to 1979 when he set up Strange Phenomena Investigations up in Scotland. Wow. Then of course he had all the events going on in Bonnybridge, and he was quite involved with those events at the time. Wow. And, you look at Philip Mantle, who, of course, is our Redline speaker, and the gentleman I'm going to be mentioning next. Yeah. He's been involved since 1980, So, and he worked with Graham Birdsall, his brother Mark, and they set up the Yorkshire UFO Society way back in the day. Yeah. So even them two alone, we're looking at what? 70 years, 80 years worth of investigations.
It's just amazing.
So again, people, don't miss out on these. All this information at your own peril, really, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. And Malcolm's talk really will be a roller coaster hour of constant visual information, which will certainly open up the eyes of even the most ardent of skeptics.
Yeah.
So, this is a must-see lecture.
Yeah, absolutely. What a treat. So you've got
it is, yeah, definitely.
So you got the Philip Mantle coming up. He publishes lots of ufologists' books and stuff, doesn't he? As well, he's been a
he certainly does. Yeah,
he
produces publishes books, should I say, in Flying Disc Press, which actually can be found on Facebook. So if people look for that, they'll find Philip there as well. So if you've got a book, folks, that you want to be published, Philip is the person to speak to.
Absolutely.
Now, Philip, for as long as he can remember, he's always been interested in things paranormal. And like I said earlier, his involvement in active research began in 1980 when he joined the Yorkshire UFO Society. And he's been fortunate to be a member of a variety of other UFO groups as well as Phil, and is been involved with the Independent UFO Network, the British UFO Research Association, or BUFORA if you want to call it that. He was also the British representative of the Mutual UFO Network at one point. And it was earlier this year that a well-known a UK-based UFO skeptic posted on social media that being involved with ufology was a complete waste of time. Now, Philip, his talk, which is called A Lifetime of UFOs, he said it made him think, was it a wasted time? During his nigh on 40 years of involvement in ufology, he's investigated just about every type of UFO case you can think of. UFO landings, alien abductions, UFO photographs, UFO sightings. He was involved in the infamous alien autopsy footage as well. He's actually investigating that, and I know he's going to be discussing that as well. But what we do have from Philip is actually something really, really interesting. Philip has come into the attention of a certain individual from America, and this is going back to 2012. He was contacted by a gentleman in America who was part of a production company called White Tiger Films. And this gentleman explained to Philip they had some information on the infamous 1947 Roswell incident. Now, Philip was quite intrigued by this, and after he signed a non-disclosure agreement, he was told all the information. We've actually got a piece of filmed footage, which was actually filmed on video in 1999, of a deputy sheriff from Texas who claims he witnessed and saw bodies at the Roswell site. So we're actually going to be showing, we've got 16 and a half minutes of never before seen footage that we're sure will intrigue many, many people, which we're showing for the first time in the United Kingdom, definitely. And we believe the first time anywhere in the world, this footage.
Oh, just amazing.
So, you know, he was actually, this deputy sheriff was there with his sheriff on his way to from Texas, to Roswell, to pick up prisoners from Roswell when he came across this event, this scene in New Mexico.
Wow.
And he was actually interviewed by a private detective in 1999. And unfortunately, it is unfortunate as well, is that the private detective who interviewed him and the deputy sheriff are now both deceased. But even so, this fascinating footage, which I've actually sat through and watched it all myself, does make compelling testimony, basically. But I will say, because it was originally filmed on VHS, some of the quality of the actual content of the footage isn't brilliant. But we've got a digital copy, which we're all set, we're all ready to go with, and we're going to be showing that for the very first time as part of Philip's Philip's lecture at the event on September the 9th this year.
Oh, it's so exciting, and what an honour it be to sit and listen and watch this historic event happen as well, and there's the actual a story being, not the story, but, you know, more evidence to the fact that there could possibly have been extraterrestrials in Roswell at that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not only that,
we do have one extra speaker that we've recently added to the event.
Yes, sorry, yeah, go on.
We have Sasha Christie, who's probably known more for the current investigation into Larry Warren and his claims surrounding the Rendlesham Forest incident. But we shall not be discussing that at all. We're going to be discussing Sasha's own case. She believes she was abducted and saw strange events in North Wales several years ago. So she's agreed to sit down on a one-to-one basis with myself and be interviewed and discuss this actual strange event that happened to her.
Oh, good on her. That's really great.
Well, I think it's brilliant for Sasha to do this because, in my opinion, and this is part of the reason why I agreed to speak with yourself as well, Leah, there are not enough ladies involved with ufology being given the permission to actually go to talk at conferences.
Okay.
So we need you guys to step forward, ladies. Come on. I call you guys, of course, figuratively.
Yeah. Yeah, girl power and all that.
yeah, absolutely. It's time ladies were given more of a prominence for some of the work that they've done.
Hell yeah, certainly.
Yeah, and also earlier, as you know, we're actually looking at a couple of sightings in the Kingston upon Hull area. One from 1967 over the local housing estate called Long Hill Estate, where a group of children, some actually sitting in the bedroom, witnessed a craft come down and land in the local park. Now, the police were called when this event happened, and by the time the police got there, the craft had disappeared, but there were scorch marks on the floor. Now, I've recently been contacted by one of the children, who was 7 years old at the time. He's contacted me, and I'm arranging to actually go and interview him and see what he has to say about it. And I know his brother was with him. I'm also looking at information from a 1977 an school sighting, which again involves children from the Warren Primary School, which is a small village just north of Bransholme, just north of Kingston upon Hull, where a silver-shaped craft flew past the school, and about 20 children actually witnessed this craft flying by. I've already got some drawings of this and other information, but if there are any witnesses out there who are listening to this now, then please, make contact with me. You can get me at the Outer Limits Mag at gmail.com.
I must also add that I wonder who will be sat in that audience, who might be somebody who wants to hear if there's any information being spoken about, because you've heard stories at conferences, there's a few government officials or what have you that sit in on the odd one. I wonder who's going to be there. It'd be great.
Well, I have a bit of a story. During the 1990s, I set up with another gentleman the Hull UFO Society.
Right.
And we'd have monthly meetings, and of course you get to know the regular faces and so on and so forth. We had a particular meeting maybe about 6 or 7 months into, the group being established.
Right.
And we had a bit of a meeting, and we all the usual faces came in. Yeah. Then these two unknowns walked in. Wearing now this is like the middle of summer, and they came into the hall where we was, and they were wearing raincoats. Like proper raincoats. The traditional
Anorak
style one with big lapels on and all that,
yeah, the
and
Anorak
hats.
Crew. And
they actually came in and sat down and stayed for the meeting. They never came back again after that.
Did you not speak
That was
to
the only
them?
time that happened. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, who are you guys? You come. It's the middle of summer. We're all in t-shirts. You've got raincoats on. What's going on here?
Undercover, obviously undercover. But didn't you speak to them?
Well, I was running the meeting. I personally didn't get a chance to,
Oh,
but
no.
I think one or two others spoke to them. But from what I understand at the time, not a lot was said by them.
So the men in not black but anorak.
Men in anoraks, yeah. Aren't we all?
Typical UK buffs. Brilliant. Wow. It'll just be interesting. The whole event. I'm so glad it's one day, because you get it all in one day. A lot of conferences go over a few days. This is an amazing opportunity for £10 a ticket for advance tickets.
That's correct. Yeah, the prices are £10 anyway.
Anyway, sorry, yeah.
Whether in advance or if you get one on the day.
Yeah.
If people go to our website, which I mentioned earlier, they can find the link on the website. Or if they look for us on the Facebook, there is a link on there. Or if people just message me on Facebook, I'll give them the link to the website. They can get one. Cool. There is, of course, a charge on there of £1.
Yeah.
Which is a basic charge, admin fee, which is by PayPal, so that people can get the tickets that way. They can book the seats well in advance, because I can see this selling out.
Yeah.
And, we'll get the tickets to them as soon as they possibly can. And also, there is a chance for people to actually go into a draw to receive, this is for the first 50 people who purchase tickets anyway. If they purchase the tickets in advance, they go into the draw and they can receive a signed photograph from the movie featuring Travis Walton's experience. The movie's Fire in the Sky. Travis Walton has signed the image. Mike Rogers has signed the image. And Travis Walton's wife, Dana, has also signed the image. And that's, for the first 50 people who purchase the tickets online.
Wow. And it's like... It's just a goodie bag, the whole event, really, to be fair. And I was just about to say also that if you get advance tickets with the post and packaging, what have you, you've got a leaflet as well, which tells you how to get there from the Humber Bridge, York, from the East Coast Rail, inside the venue, access, maps, everything, all handy for you as well in the paperwork that comes with it.
Absolutely, yeah. Also, the actual venue, as well as a cafeteria inside, so there is food available there. Disabled access is there. I will say, though, for those who want food, that I believe the cafeteria closes around about 3 p.m. and we are going on till 7 p.m. in the evening. So really, from the doors open at 10 o'clock in the morning, first speakers up round about 10:30, which will be me welcoming people. Then obviously we're going right through with various breaks during the day till 7 p.m. You're getting 9 hours of views, news, discussions, video, meeting fellow researchers.
Yeah.
Because I know quite a lot of researchers are coming. And we're also giving an award out to a person as well for that person's involvement in ufology, which we think is more than overdue that this person got this reward. And 9 hours for £10. Get yourself along, folks. What you waiting for?
What are you waiting for, and what excuses have you got to not be involved? It's going to be brilliant, and it will be my first conference, as I said before. Before, I've never been able to get out or do it, and since the show started, it's all gone boom, and the involvement is all there. But I found actually my chance, because you're only just down the road from me, so it's even more convenient. But I can't wait.
Well, that's cool. It'll be great to see you. Yeah. And as I've discussed with you before, I'm more than happy for you to come along and do some, one-to-one interviews with some of our speakers.
Yeah, and
come along, get your face seen, and get out and do some investigations yourself. And because I am actually thinking, if all goes well with this one, of maybe doing a spring conference next year.
Yeah,
and then again next year, once again next year, I'm looking at bringing in an international speaker for the second OLM conference.
Ooh.
But I'm already in discussion with a gentleman regarding that now.
Yeah.
So that could possibly be an American coming over to Hull to actually let us know about what he's experienced and what he's gone through.
Oh, excellent. The future is bright. And also,
it certainly is.
Do you not find, though, personal question, whatever answer you want to give, do you not find, though, that people are more accepting to the possibilities of these crafts and things aren't actually secret government crafts? Some of them, however, are. But do you not think that people are more accepting, and it's not such a, oh my God, you're crazy, oh, UFO loon, where's your tinfoil hat, like it used to be?
Well, I think you're actually quite right there, Leah. I mean, when we go back to the early days of the last 70 years, should I say, we'll go back to like 1947, because obviously things had been seen before then, strange air dirigibles and so on, going back to the 1800s and so on. When you go back to the 1940s, 1950s, it was suddenly burst upon the scene, and obviously the authorities denied that these things existed. Yeah. You come along to the 60s, the 70s, oh, he's into UFOs, and people were laughing behind your back, and all this kind of stuff. As we've gone on into the 90s and into the early noughties, things have changed. People's opinions have changed. We're not so narrow-minded nowadays to think that we are alone in the universe. This is the only planet in the complete universe, the entire cosmos, that has got intelligent life on it. When we go back 30 years, again, round about the end of the 80s, early 90s, the only planet we knew about that was, had life on it was this one. The only planets we knew about were around our one sun, which is called Sol. Yeah. Now, when we come forward in time, I think over the last 10 years, they've actually discovered something about 3,000 extra solar planets orbiting other stars. So planets are not, limited to this one solar system that we're in. There are out there. There are plenty of them out there, and somewhere, somehow, we will find life on another planet. Now, I'm not saying that life will be like ourselves, Homo sapiens, etc., but some form of life will be discovered on some planet somewhere. When we look at the moons around Jupiter, there's I think it's Jupiter where there are two possible candidates that may have life on them.
Yeah, Saturn, I think.
So, the time is coming when the mirror will be cracked and we will see through that mirror and we'll go through to the other side and we will discover life elsewhere.
I think, personally, I think the way it is in the mainstream anyway, it's like, right, we found microbial life, then it will be, we found like animal life, and then it will be, now we've got like intelligent life, as it were.
Yeah.
Not to say that animals aren't intelligent, but
Absolutely. You have to be very, very careful though what you read in the mainstream papers.
Absolutely.
I'm not personally one for conspiracy theories or anything like that, but a lot of the papers, especially, and I will name drop a couple, the Sun, and maybe the Daily Mirror.
Yeah.
They actually put a lot of stuff in there from Secure Team 10, which have been proven to be known fakers.
Yeah.
Of video footage.
I think it works two ways though. Personally, bloody annoying. Secondly, you got all the fakes, you got brilliant CGI. A lot of people are going fake, fake, fake all the time. You're never going to know what's a real video footage anyhow, I don't think, unless you had a credible person or multiple witnesses, multiple recordings, because people want actual recordings or to actually see it in their front lawn. But I think...
Well, even if it landed on the White House lawn, Leah, I think some people are still deny it anyway.
Yeah, so. Disinformation. Yeah, but I think it has two good places. One, it's Secure Team, or it's possibly faked from years ago and he's bringing it up again, which usually ends up with me looking like the sod of the bunch, because I'm the one who's going, oh, look at this, and they're like, should have researched it first, Leah. But
well, the thing is, I know you've been interested in the subject for quite some time, but when you first come into this, you're like an open book. You're like a clean page that is waiting to be written on, and you take all this information in, and it's, as far as you're concerned, it's all true.
Yeah.
But then when you look at things just that little bit deeper and you speak to people involved, you start finding little bits of information that just don't quite ring correctly. And that's when you start making your own mind up about your own where you're going to go, etc., which is why I'm still a little bit of a believer in, I think, the nuts and bolts craft. Some people may agree with that, some people may not. They're perfectly entitled to do so, but that is how I view things.
Well, as they say, we're 70, 80 years ahead of ourselves in technology from what us sheeple get to see anyhow. The secret black projects, whatever, black, dark. But as I was saying about things being in the mirror and things, I think it's, on one side, I'm thinking personally, I think it's a good thing because it's now getting it out there in mainstream more. Secondly, the bad thing is, people will then find out it's fake shit, and then they'll say, right, tinfoil hat crew again, don't want to know. So there's two different sides. Is it the drip feed of information but disinformation? Or, it's just a big roundabout. And ufology is getting so big now. So you've got so many ufologists, so many different groups and stuff that have got together and put all these things out. A conference is the way to go. If you're just getting into it, go to a conference, bring a notepad, make notes as well. I suggest doing that.
Absolutely, of course, completely agree with that. And of course, if they want the real UFO truth, then really they should be reading Outer Limits magazine.
Absolutely.
Which, of course, is completely free to read, folks.
Boom, boom. Well done. I like it. Right, so this is actually our time up. But like I said, everybody, please get to... come over to this event. It's one not to be missed, especially because it's in the UK and it's literally in the Midlands, which is really great because it's in the middle of everywhere. So I don't think there's any excuses. And Chris, I can't thank you enough. It must be such a job to get all this together, and hats off to you. You've done a wonderful job, and thank you for that.
It's absolutely my pleasure. And of course, you know, if people do want to come along, let me know that they've actually heard this discussion. And, you know, it'd be nice to meet a few people down there, see some old friends again. Absolutely. So remember, folks, Saturday, the 9th of September, 2017, the Freedom Centre, Preston Road, Hull, Outer Limits Magazine Conference 2017. Get yourself there.
Absolutely. Come and be informed. Come on, you got to say it.
Exactly. Come and be informed. Yay. You're pinching my lines again.
I was waiting for it, but I thought, oh, he's not going to say it. You got to say it. Right, cool. Thanks, Chris, for your time. I know you're a very busy guy. I thoroughly enjoyed speaking with you. Can't wait to see you. I'll be in contact later anyway. And if anybody needs to have any links, and they haven't got a pen and paper, it's on ahk42.com as well, conveniently. All of Chris's links to everything he's got out there.
That's brilliant.
Okay, Chris. Well, have a brilliant rest of your sunny afternoon.
Well, I'm just working on something for the next issue of the magazine. We might have a major statement coming out about a recent event, so I'm saving a couple of pages to put that in.
Oh, excellent. Hot off the press. Brilliant. Looking forward to your updates. All right, Chris, you take care now.
Pleasure. Thank you very much, Leah. Bye-bye.
Bye. If you've enjoyed this, then please go to Chris Evers' website. All links are on the ahk42.com guest page for Chris Evers. I'd like to give thanks to Rice Rocket, Nick Turner, and Adjust the Future, The Visitor, Space Gypsy for music. I'd also like to give thanks to Terry Rauch, Jim Choma, Chris Evers, John Sims, Philip Mantle, and many, many more. You are what help the show be what it is. And I give thanks to the listeners. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe wherever you're finding this podcast. And I look forward to seeing you soon, or speaking to you soon, or having a comment row with you soon, as it seems to be quite recently. Email me if you'd like to be on the show. Join our Facebook page and then our Facebook group. It's all located on Facebook /TALK AHK42. You'll find us there. And also you'll find us on YouTube. Just search for AHK42. And if you'd like this show and you'd like to listen to some more, there's a convenient MP3 player on ahk42.com. Next week, we'll be speaking to Irina Scott. She's been in the news recently. Listen out for her interview on Wednesday. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.